Okay, hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of Build, Paint, Play. Hopefully, you folks can hear us now. So let us know if you can hear us in the chat. I'm not sure what was going on there, but we weren't getting the what do you call it? The intro music working. Oh, Josh Potter says here. As in, you can hear me. I hope that's what you mean, Josh. Let me know. But yes, hooray! We are live for another episode. Super cool. And I, of course, can hear you. Jake hasn't said anything. That's kind of unusual for him.
Yeah, sorry. I'm trying to minimize, like, so I don't have the podcast going with audio and then my screen going with audio.
Right. Well, you can hit mute on the.
That's what I just did. That's what
the
I just
replay.
did.
Yeah. Cool.
All right.
Excellent. Josh says yes, 505. Good buddy.
Outstanding. All right.
10-4. Over and out. I think that's.
All right. Do you want to walk them through your your choice holder dudes?
Yep, the incredible situation that I find myself in. I'm on vacation with my family. So my wife, my two daughters, her sister, and one of her daughters, and her parents. So my in-laws. So we are down at the delightful Outer Banks of North Carolina. You can tell because I'm in a room with lots of wood paneling, lots of wonderful knotty pine wood paneling, and. Amusingly enough, when we arrived, shortly after we arrived, my sister-in-law went around and hid a whole bunch of things around the house, just for people to find, to be surprised by. Some of them were under pillows, some of them were on bookshelves or in toiletry bags, that kind of thing, including about sort of close to 24 plastic army men. So here we've got a guy, it looks like he's about to throw a potato masher grenade. They made sure that for the episode this evening that I was wearing one on my shoulder. So it's a guy with a bayonet, which is fantastic. And then on the wall behind me, I have several other green plastic army men taped to the wall. So... Oh, fantastic. Kate's here. Hey, Kate. Great that you could join us for the first time on our live feed.
Nice. Welcome.
Yep, definitely cool. So I'm here with the wonderful lighting, some swing arm lighting. I'm just going to push it back like that. I don't have the fan that's next to me. I don't have it going. So hopefully...
Yeah, speaking of fans, anybody who was on last week, could you hear like a hum in the background?
Probably.
Because when I went back and I watched it on YouTube just to like check stuff, I can hear like a hum, and I don't know if it was Dave or if it was me. So he's in a new place, and there's usually a fan out in the hallway, and I shut that off just to make sure that there is no like buzzing fan sound. So we'll see, I guess. But
yep. Of course, I just realized it could be the fan in my computer. In my laptop right here. So it could be that. But
it could be that.
We'll find out. It's all good. But yes, so that's what I'm up to this week. What are you up to this week, Jake?
This week has been a lot. I am my wife and I bought a new house, and we are packing for the pop band. No, it's real. We're packing for the crossing, so we've got like 2 weeks and a couple days.
I was so hoping that you were going to say we're packing for the crossing.
Packing this for the crossing.
Yep, fantastic. Where's that from, Scott? Scott has to.
He should definitely know.
He should know that one for sure.
He's definitely in the mood to understand where that's from.
Yep. Awesome. But yeah, keep going. So you're packing for the crossing.
Yeah. So I'm just like moving stuff around, and like I can't believe how many books I have. like I'm a hardcore bibliophile, so you'll be able to see it once we're in the new place. But like, so to my right, I have this huge like IKEA 4x4 that is just chock full of books. Like it's all the top like 3 racks is all like graphic novels, and the
Yep.
whole bottom row is all like White Dwarfs and like RPG books.
Yep.
And then I've got a bunch in these cases here, and then over in the far wall I have another bookcase, and then I have another whole bookcase that's full of just like fiction. It's all like paperbacks and stuff. So I'm like packing it all up, and it's taking forever, and I keep finding like all this like random stuff that not random, like I knew I had it, but like I wasn't looking for it.
Yep.
So some of the winners, and I thought you'd appreciate this, Dave, is on this.
Oh, cool.
So it's the old like stickers you can peel out, and
Right.
they go in the tops of the old black caps.
Right. Yep.
And they're all, and their colors are crazy because they don't even make these anymore. So there's like Lich Purple, Elf Flesh, Desert Yellow, Goblin Green obviously is in here.
Yep.
Some of them are the same, like Ultramarines is still around, like Blood Red is now just Mephiston Red.
Yep.
Chainmail. But I thought these were hilarious. I was like, man, I never even pulled the stickers off. I was like, I don't know if I was saving them for a rainy day or what, but that was kind of fun to find.
Yeah. That's cool.
I found this, which I thought you'd appreciate.
Oh, nice. Nice. Is that a cloth badge?
So this is a stitched badge.
Yeah.
This was at Games Day one year. Black Library was selling like blue camo T-shirts.
Oh, okay.
I bought one, and it shrunk, and then I tore the arm, and I was like, well, I don't want to get rid of that badge, so I cut the badge out. I have a friend who's a seamstress. I'm going to see if she can put this on Velcro backing for me, so I can put it on my work shirt. I have a work shirt that has a bunch of Velcro patches.
Right.
And then this might be my favorite find.
Is that one? Oh, Citadel Journal. Which issue is that?
It's issue 23.
Yep, 23.
The reason why this one is extra great.
Oh, John Matthews.
With that horrific bike army that he used to run. Like, look at how small that army is.
Yeah.
It's the
Incredible.
worst. It's so bad. And there's a great picture of Rick Priestley there.
Oh, excellent. Yep. Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So this is from January. This is from January of '98.
Excellent stuff.
Yeah, there's definitely some good stuff. But yeah, it's just overwhelming how many boxes of books I have. I was like, think how we paid a movie company. Like, they're not going to be stoked. I've been pretty good. I've used small boxes for books.
Yep.
So none of them weigh that much.
Sure.
It's just a lot. It's just a lot of boxes of books.
Yeah, you should never use anything larger than like the width of a book times the height. Like, is the height of the book.
Yeah, that's basically. I have a bunch of these, which are like GW like boxes they're perfect for loading them up with like rule books and stuff. So
right. Yep.
It's a lot.
Excellent.
It'll be a good time. I still got to bring home a figure case from work so I can take all the stuff out of my glass case, so I can transport all that without it getting destroyed. And then I have a small like glass case that I'll be bringing to the new place. So
cool. Excellent.
And then obviously prepping for Gen Con because I leave Thursday morning.
Okay. Cool. Nice. I'm just going to say hi to Chris. Chris in the chat. Good evening. And Scott said he watched the Gua documentary on Amazon. It wasn't very good, but there was a clip of the band playing Blood Bowl on a tour bus, and one of the dudes modern day has Kill Team and Blitz Bowl on the desk.
Nice.
So definitely cool. I knew that they were some of them were into GW games, but very cool. Nice.
There's a lot of people that are. So Scott didn't. I don't think Scott realized what that line was from.
The Crossing. That was from Dune, of course, right?
Yeah. It's Patrick Stewart, yeah, but he delivers the line in the first movie,
right?
And I believe what's his name, Jock Brolin delivers the line in the second one. But
it's all Gurney Halleck, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great line. There's a lot of like famous folks that love the GW. I mean, over the years. Like I know, I think we talked. You and I talked this before. Like I know, like Robin Williams is a big was a big Warhammer guy.
Billy Crystal.
Billy Crystal. I met Rick Fox, who's a an NBA player. He played for the Lakers and he played for the Celtics.
Okay.
He actually came into my shop when I ran the Harvard store.
Okay.
The one right in Cambridge.
Yep.
He like came in with his kids, and it was really funny. Like his son was like super excited, and I was like, oh, what are you looking for? And he's like, oh, he's looking for like whatever. And his son's got a whole list of stuff he's looking for. And I was like, oh, do you play? And I was just making conversation, and he goes, oh yeah, I play Eldar. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like it was just kind of funny.
You're like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was like, yeah. Well, at the time, that was after Gavthorpe got his hands on them, so they got like star cannons and stuff because he was tired of losing to. He was tired of losing to Space Marines, but. What's the other one? There's the. Who else did I meet? There's somebody else I met. Some other guy who came in who's an actor, like was looking for like random stuff. He was like filming a movie in Boston and wanted stuff to like keep him occupied. But like Adam Pratt's had a bunch of people come into his store, like when he was in Buckland, Connecticut and stuff. And Brooks has mentioned he's had people from DC like pop in. So
yeah, I saw something that was I think it's Rahul Kahil. He's an English actor who was in The Haunting of Bly Manor.
Okay.
And he was in Midnight Mass. He played the sheriff in Midnight Mass. But apparently he tweeted the other day like that he was thinking of like focusing on painting towards winning a Golden Demon rather than focusing on any acting accolades.
Wow,
He'd much rather have a Golden Demon than that. And so somebody from the Adepticon team like tweeted to him like, "Oh, so you're coming to Adepticon next year then?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So
that's pretty good.
I think it's cool. That'd be fun.
The big one, obviously, right now is Henry Cavill. Is a big He's a big BK guy. But yeah, this is a ton of people.
Ansel Elgort.
Who?
From Ansel Elgort from he was in the Divergent series as the brother. He was the driver in Baby Driver.
Okay.
He was in a series called, I think it was called Tokyo Vice, where he played the first non-Japanese reporter on the big Tokyo newspaper. But yeah, he's been into painting minis for a long time. But probably 14 years ago, maybe longer.
Okay.
I handed him a Youngbloods trophy.
So apparently, Vin Diesel.
Yep.
Trey Parker from South Park.
Right.
And Ansel Elgort's on this list. It looks like Henry Cavill got Tom Holland into it.
That would be cool. I saw that there was that episode of the Graham Norton show.
Yeah. Oh, dude, so funny. So many people got really salty at him, like, "Oh, Graham Norton knows what Warhammer is," and I was like, "Right, but guys, he has a global audience."
Yeah.
So, like, I'm sure he was setting up Henry to answer that question, not because Graham genuinely doesn't know what Warhammer is.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. Kevin Smith.
Right.
Tommy Lee Jones.
Okay.
Will Smith. Dustin Hoffman. The late Philip Seymour Hoffman, apparently.
Right.
Yeah, Billy Crystal.
You're just reading a list. You're just reading off the internet, aren't you?
I'm just seeing what I can find.
Well, let's move on to the next thing then. Scott said that he got the reference, but this is a Total Recall show apparently, so he preferred the 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Stick to the script, Jake. Chris says there are a number of WWE wrestlers that are 40k fans.
Yeah, I heard about that. I knew
Scott
about
also
that.
said it. Yeah, Ansel Elgort stuff is still up on the Kuminonaut forums under Crazy Boy 1. Josh says NFL players too. A couple of Green Bay Packers have been known to sneak into their local GW from time to time.
I wouldn't be surprised. I mean,
yeah.
We all love it because it's a super fun game. It's always funny seeing that. Like, I ended up getting. So there was a girl who was friends with a couple of friends of ours when we were like I was relatively new to Games Workshop. I had been working for the company for like maybe a year, and this girl came in and bought a bunch of stuff, and we got her into it because I play, and Pete Harrison, like Pete plays, and our friend Cassandra plays, and this girl was a friend of Cassandra's. So she got into it, and then she was in the Navy. So she's like at sea on a boat for like, months at a time. So she brought a bunch of stuff. She brought a couple things with her.
Yep.
And then she came back and was like, yeah, I need to order like $800 worth of stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. I was like, what's going on? She's like, so I got like 8 people on the ship are now like want to get into it. And then the next time, like she was like, yeah, we landed she's like, by the time we ended up landing in San Francisco or Los Angeles, she's like, there's like 38 of us now that are playing. So like they all like basically got off. And I can only imagine them like rolling into the local game store.
Yeah.
But I was like, oh,
that'd be cool.
That makes a lot of sense. That'd be cool. So.
Yeah, no, that'd be great. Definitely good. Definitely good.
Right, so what do you want to cover first? Want to talk about terrain?
Yeah, let's. Well, actually, no. First off, let's talk about just quickly about Gen Con. So
Sure.
Gen Con starts tomorrow afternoon, I guess, evening.
Yeah, it's weird. It's not like Adepticon. So Wednesday, there's like, I think there's like a VIP. Oh no, you can't go into the hall. Like so
you can't go in the vendor hall, but there are activities for like there's gaming going on.
Yeah. There'll be like public space gaming and like some a couple like minor events and stuff. And then Thursday is sort of like day one. And then there'll be like the vendor hall opens and there'll be a ton of different like sanctioned events and classes and different things you can do. And then it basically runs all weekend. And I don't think it ends until Sunday at the hall closes at 6, but I think like the other nights, I think there's a couple of events that actually run till like 8.
Right.
Like classes and like gaming and stuff. And then I know they do like the reward ceremony. But it'll be fun. I mean, it is a huge show. So
yeah. Chris says you can get badges starting at noon for noon tomorrow. So
yeah.
Yep. Should be very cool to hear what's going on. You're going, obviously. I'm not going. Boo.
It was supposed to.
I was supposed to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been a crazy couple of years, so I'm kind of. I must admit, I am kind of okay with not going. It'll be nice to spend some relaxing time here at the beach with my family. So
nice.
And by relaxing time at the beach, I mean laying out the art of books while they are off at the beach. I went down to the beach today, and it was like somewhere between 96 and 100 degrees, and the sand was just ridiculous. It soaked up all of that heat and just built up, and I almost burnt the bottom of my feet running across the sand.
That's why you gotta walk slow and you gotta kick up the sand so you're not stepping on the hot sand.
All right, yeah. Oh yeah, just gotta bury my feet so that only the tops of my feet get cooked.
That's the trick.
Okay. If we're gonna go down that dune path, I need to learn to walk without rhythm. So
that's right. That way you won't attract the worm.
Yep. All good. But cool. So yeah, you'll be off at Gen Con.
Yeah, I'll get some good photos and stuff. I'll see if there's any like cool. I mean, there's always like cool mini and terrain and scenery kits and stuff like that. So
yep.
I'll definitely get some good pics. Some of the most fun stuff to see, believe it or not, is like the super random indie stuff.
Yep.
Where you're like, what is that thing? Like that stuff's always kind of really fun for me to kind of check out. Because I'm always like, ooh, I want to pick up one of those.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely going to be cool. The picture that we've got, that I've got like below me here, is from a table at Historicon from the Miniature Building Authority. So those folks are going to be, those folks will be there. I'm not sure what booth number they're in, but they usually head there. Kirk and Jim are going to be there.
What is it called? Miniature
Building Authority.
Okay.
The MBA.
Nice.
So yeah, that's set up on the table there is their Lake Town sort of setup,
nice.
Which looks absolutely fantastic for a Lake Town kind of thing. But also, if you were to take it off, because a lot of it's on pilings, it would be perfect for doing anything in like a tundra region.
Yeah.
So like in the Yukon Territory, for example, or in the Yukon in Canada, all the buildings that were built during the gold rush, and a lot of sort of in the 40 or 50 years after the gold rush in 1890s, are all built on pilings because of the permafrost.
Okay, I like that.
So you could very definitely do.
Really cool. They'd be really good, like swamp for
Yep.
like swamp noise too. So
Great for swamps. But yeah, I think I always when I was looking at them was like, oh yeah, I can definitely picture these in that kind of setting. So doing like a Wild West game, but in like Whitehorse in the Yukon Territory. So I think that'd be pretty sweet. John Walker's told us there that the Miniature Building Authority is booth 2230. So definitely go and check them out. Yep, they do super cool stuff. And Chris said it'll be like you're there, Dave. I'll be wearing the Peabody Heights t-shirt. Peabody Heights Brewery is my local brewery, so Chris is going to be representing them, which will be super cool. But yeah, nice. So definitely, if you're there, check them out. A bunch of other folks are doing some terrain. One of them will be Monster Fight Club. So if you check out the Monster Fight Club booth, they've got a whole bunch of cool pre-painted plastic terrain for typically like mainly for role-playing games, but you could definitely use them for wargaming too. And I'm not sure if they're going to have them there, but I know that they've just shipped out a lot of the Metropolis sets. I don't know if you've seen those. Did you see the Kickstarter for those, Jake?
Those are really good for games like Shadowrun, Infinity, the Batman miniatures game from Night Models is another really good one. It would work pretty well with the new Marvel.
Marvel Crisis Protocol.
Crisis Protocol.
Yep.
It's very modern, so like you couldn't use it for like any kind of sci-fi or fantasy. Like it just doesn't. They just look like big rectangular modern buildings. So.
Yeah, definitely modern or cyberpunk sort of stuff for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's a lot of
like their new winter tree set looks awesome.
Yeah, their Iceland stuff.
Yeah.
So it'd be great to see when that comes out. But yeah, definitely check out Monster Fight Club. And one of my favorites is always Warsenal. Jay at Warsenal does some super cool stuff. I got a picture coming up later in the terrain section that Jay sent through to me of a piece of terrain that he's going to be selling at the show. So that will be neat. We can have a look at that. But yeah, definitely cool stuff. So you're excited?
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoy Gen Con. This is going to be a weird one. Usually I end up working that show.
Okay.
And this time I'm going more for like networking. So, I mean, I'm working a little bit. I've got some work stuff I've got to figure out while I'm there. But I thought it would be easier, and it's different. Like I'm still just as busy. It's just now I'm doing like 26 things instead of doing like 2.
Right.
But I mean, it'll be fine. I mean, I'm excited to go. It'll be great to see everybody. It's like when we go to Adepticon. Part of the reason I like Adepticon so much is like I see so many people that I know.
Yep.
And there's definitely lots of that at Gen Con too. I get to see like my friends from the other half of the business. But it's also like it's like a sea of humanity. There's so many people at Gen Con. It's just like it's a whole other animal. Like Adepticon is like there's like 4,000 people.
5.
Right, but like never on the same place.
Yeah, they're never all in that aisle that you need to walk down through the middle of the vendor hall.
Right. So, I mean,
whereas at Gen Con, there are always 5,000 people in that aisle.
And again, like this year, there was like a big chunk of them were in the other building at the historical thing.
All right, yep.
So I like you know what I mean? Like you never had to deal with them all at once. This Gen Con is just like it's just going to be busy. Like I don't think it'll be as nuts as it was a couple of years ago. Like last year was weird. Last year definitely felt empty.
Right.
There was like a third of the people that usually go, maybe.
Yeah.
And even this year, like it's supposed to be, it'll be busier than it was last year, but it's still not going to be what it was like in 2019. It's not going to be that crazy.
Sure. Yeah. No, that's that'll be good though. I think it'll be fun. You'll enjoy it.
Hopefully, I don't get COVID again this time.
Fingers crossed. John says that it's booth 941 for Warsenal and Corvus Belli. Because, yeah, Jay's always there with the Corvus Belli / Infinity folks. Does a lot of super cool terrain for Infinity. But, yes. Should we jump in to talk about terrain?
Yeah, let's do terrain. Let's do terrain stuff.
Let's go. Okay, cool. So, I'm just going to switch us over to that.
What do we got?
So the very first piece that I have is from Jeff Smith, and this is a piece of Age of Sigmar terrain that Jeff did. I think it's one of the Storm Vaults pieces, and it's done a spectacular job. There's just fantastic look on the sort of the white or light colored stone. All around it. The gold looks fantastic, but my favorite part, of course, is that black gold marble.
Yeah, that looks really cool.
Yeah. It does look awesome, doesn't it?
Is that just like a smudging effect?
I'm not exactly sure. I should have asked him about it, but I think it looks great. It's kind of reminiscent of a like a really wicked fire effect that you might see somebody on like American Choppers or Counting Cars kind of do.
He definitely did it. He definitely did each of the tiles like together, and then he put them in because it's not one big seam. Right.
Yeah. No, I think I got to admit, I don't know exactly how he did it, but it might have been one of the. I know a lot of people do the marble with the. Like baby wipes or dryer sheets.
Yep.
You can do, where you sort of pull them apart and you use the long thin strands to mask off areas. So it could have been that it was painted. You painted those gold or sprayed them gold first, laid that over the top, sprayed it black, peeled it up, rearranged them, and then put that cool gloss layer over the top.
It looks super cool. He did an awesome job with it.
Yeah, it does look very nice. But yeah, and even the steps at the front, the rest of the stonework there, while it doesn't have the flash of that gold marble, black gold marble, I still love the sort of the texture of the weathering and the colors on there. And it looks awesome. Awesome. I like that. And
that's a great terrain kit too.
Yeah.
All the Stormvault stuff is just super cool looking. All the new what's the newer army, the skeleton guys.
The skeleton guys, the Ossiarch Bone Reapers.
Yeah, like all of their like 4 terrain pieces are also super cool looking.
Yep. They are nice. Next up, we've got a few pieces from Phil Karpovich, or Amniotically Tanked, as he is on YouTube. So the first one we have is this sort of little Imperial outpost kind of bunker piece.
Nice.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's not something that looks like a this piece wouldn't be placed for battle. Like, this isn't being dropped in by the Adeptus Mechanicus for Space Marines to deploy into, kind of thing. Right. This piece is a something you'd find in an Imperial city, and but yeah, there's lots of great little details there. The so that's yeah.
I was gonna say that the sensor, like the sensor board, that's from the inside of the Rhino.
Yep. And it has that little. I love that it has the little awning over it.
Yeah.
To protect it from the rain.
the little Imperial ATM.
Yeah. Yep.
And then like those lamps are from the old the Sector Mechanicus kit.
Yep.
And then on the top, that green thing is half of one of the cylinders from the newer City Fight sets.
Right. And it does just look like a porta potty, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And that's great.
It's a great kit. Like, you did a great job.
I think more it's the color scheme, the sort of the dark color on the base, and then a white roof to it.
Yeah.
But no, I think Phil's done a great job there. There's a little poster there, and on that little poster on the right hand side of the door is, I think it says laborer's sustenance.
Oh, nice. Perfect.
Maybe a little nod there to the what do you call it, corpse starch kind of thing.
Okay. Is the Jeff Smith that posted the last thing, is that Jeff Smith from GW that we know?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, okay. Nice.
So it's actually a real name, Scott. It's
yeah. Scott thinks he's not real.
Right. No, he's totally real. He may be watching later on. He actually has a live stream with a buddy of his, Mike, from Arizona, called I think it's called like Hobby Time with Mike and Dan, or what's new with Mike and Dan. No, what am I saying? Mike and Dan, Mike and Jeff. I'm getting confused with watching paint dry with Mike and Dan.
I was like, wow, poor Jeff. He's on a podcast without his name, you know.
No, that's a different one. But he's on a live stream each week. But no, Jeff's super cool. Jeff used to run the trade sales team for the Northeast for Games Workshop. But I've known Jeff now for 20 plus years. Nice one, Scott. Yes, get your Jeff story straight. We will eventually. But no, he's a real person. Just as Phil here is a real person too.
Nice.
But
I do like that kid.
Yeah, it is sweet. Sweet. Okay.
It's also like scratch built. It's also just like plasticard and.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, which makes it even better. It's definitely cool. And the next piece, we have another piece here from Phil. We've got two photos of this, like a front and a back. But this one has a Warlord Titan head in it.
Nice.
Yeah. So you got to
great.
Having some pretty solid terrain if you've got a Warlord Titan head wrecked on the base.
So I'm gonna guess that is not a Games Workshop Forge World Warlord head, because that would be an extremely expensive piece of terrain.
Well, it might be a case where so when you buy the Warlord Titan, you get the Warlord Titan head that comes with it.
Which makes sense.
And there's a head that is only available at Warhammer World. So if you like that head that's only available at Warhammer World and you get somebody to buy it for you and ship it to you from overseas, you end up with a spare head.
Okay.
So it's possible that is an actual Warlord Titan head.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say that's not.
I think you're probably right. I'm just hoping, I guess.
It does look great though. It's an awesome piece of terrain.
Yep. So
it'd be a cool objective too. It's like, oh, you have to either recover or kill the 3-man, command crew of the Warlord.
Right. Yeah. So this is the
5-man. Sorry, 5-man crew.
5-man crew.
It's 5-man command crew.
Yeah, there are 4 in the head, and then you've got the
You're a senior engineer.
the engine steer and the sort of behind the head, back in the body of it. But this is the back of that terrain piece. So it's got
awesome.
basically you've got the GW ruins, the Sector Imperialis ruins. Well, here we go. Chris says, "I own 3 warlord heads and no warlord buddies."
Sure.
They just keep falling off trucks, do they, Chris?
For your juggling act?
Yeah. Oh, how cool would that be, juggling that? But yeah, I think my favorite thing here is that rather than just going with the Imperial ruins there to sort of bulk it up a little bit, Phil has built like a little plinth there, a platform out of
a retaining wall.
Yeah, like a retaining wall out of I'm guessing insulation foam, and he's carved in those bricks on the side, and then put in some of the little eagle.
The gargoyles, the Imperial Eagle gargoyle things that stick
gargoyle
off.
Pieces. Yep.
The Batman purchase that are on every building.
Yep. They're from the original City Fight buildings, I think. So, but yeah, I think they work really well there.
That's a great kit. That's an awesome piece of terrain.
Yep. I think Phil's done an excellent job there. Really nice work.
Yeah, 100%.
Super cool.
Agree.
And as I mentioned, so this is a look at one of the terrain pieces that Jay from Warsenal is going to be releasing at Gen Con. So what did John say? It was booth 941. So if you happen to be at Gen Con, head to booth 941 and check this out. This is a pre-printed piece of scenery. So when you buy it, it's a flat pack kit, but when you assemble it, it looks like this. You don't have to paint it. It's already done for you. That's all printed onto the surface of the MDF.
Yeah, it's so funny seeing how far MDF has come. Like, when it first came out, it was just all brown clipboards that had been cut into random terrain bits.
Yep.
And then it was like, oh, now we have them so they're pre-weathered and they're pre-detailed. And then it was like, oh, now they're all pre-painted on one side, and now they're completely pre-painted.
Yep.
It is still MDF. Like, I think MDF is cool, and it's definitely like a nice cost-effective option.
Yeah.
But I definitely think that, I saw a table that was all MDF, and it has a very distinct look.
Yeah, I think there are a couple of designers out there that do a really good job for their regular MDF kits of breaking away from the boxy kind of look. And amusingly enough, this one here has a very boxy kind of look.
Yeah.
And I think that this is Jay coming to grips with the pre-printed idea. Yeah. Because if you go and have a look at his Cosmica line of kits, they are not at all boxy. He's super skilled at when he's not working with the pre-printed stuff. He's super skilled with the of making the MDF kits, like giving the layers and the depth and changing the shapes and the silhouettes to pull it away from that boxy kind of look. So yeah, this is a little bit different. I think this is him just trying out a few ideas. But a lot of his other stuff, I think in a future show, whenever we get to it, I'll show you some of the stuff that I did with his Cosmica line for my Dark Age table. So it's kind of ruined sci-fi habs and stuff like that. But,
yeah, I'm looking at the stuff on the website now. You're absolutely right. Like, the Cosmica stuff looks great.
Yeah, definitely super cool. But I like this as well, and I think for folks who don't like painting terrain, this sort of thing is going to be a fantastic option. And over the next couple of years, Jay's line is going to develop into that kind of thing where it's has that Cosmica look, not necessarily like directly copied from that, but that Cosmica look with the pre-painted, pre-printed textures and stuff on it.
Yeah. No, I mean, his stuff is great. Like, I'm looking at some of it now, and it's really cool.
Yep. Just quickly, Chris says Forge World had talking about the 3 Warlord heads. Chris said Forge World had offered the standard one that came with the kit, the Warhammer World one, and 2 on the site at about $100 each. They fit nicely on wall mounts. So it's just kind of like when you kill a Warlord in battle, you take the head mounted on the wall. That'd be cool. And Scott says he pretty much exclusively uses pre-painted MDF from Black Site Studios. Yeah, they're super cool. I'm not sure if they're going to be at Gen Con this year. I know that they've just moved to a new facility in Waco, Texas. They've been doing a lot of cool videos, sort of looking around the building that they've just moved into. But hopefully they'll, if they're not there this year, they'll be there next year. They'll definitely be at Adepticon. But yeah, the Black Site Studio stuff is super cool. He has a really cool 5-foot-long modern cargo ship.
Nice. Oh yeah, I know Black Site Studio. So Ben, who you know, my business partner Ben.
Yep.
I'm pretty sure his buddy designed that game. Don't Look Back.
All right. Yep.
Ben and him went. I think it's Matt Burns. I think
so. I think you're right.
Yeah, but I believe they went to school together, and we were at some show, and Ben was like, "Oh yeah, I know that guy," and I was like, "Oh, this is just kind of funny how small a world it is."
Yeah. Oh, it is. Yeah, definitely super tiny. Everybody knows each other without a doubt. And of course, my mind's gone blank on. I think one of the one of the owners of Black Site Studios is Benjamin Galbraith, who is from Australia originally.
And you guys all know each other, so.
Pardon? Oh no, we do. We know each other. We didn't know each other before Black Site Studios, but post Black Site Studios, we definitely know it. Yep. Josh says he has the feudal Japan terrain from Black Site Studios. Beautiful stuff.
What is that one called? I'm assuming Rising Sun. Oh wow, yeah, that stuff's super cool.
The range. Yep. I'm not sure. And Scott says, Matt W. Burns, Don't Look Back is fun, especially if you play it on a 5-foot-long container ship. Yeah, I can imagine that. Yeah, Don't Look Back is their basically horror movie skirmish game, which is super cool.
Scott, what is the 5-foot-long container ship called? I'm looking out on their website. I'm just trying to find it in their terrain.
Yep.
They've got like industrial. They've got commercial stuff.
I'm not sure, but I think it'd be cool to do a big table where you have it's like there's that scene in what was it in? I think it was in like Captain Phillips, something like that. The Tom Hanks film about the pirates in off the coast of Ethiopia. Or no, Somalia. And there's the beach scene where like all those big cargo ships have been beached and they're being dismantled. I think it'd be awesome to have a game set around that. But there we go, the MV Australis.
All right, let's see.
You can find that.
There's no search bar on their website?
Probably. But while you're searching for that, which makes for terrible TV.
Yeah, sorry. Let's go to the next one. I just want to see it. Go to the next thing.
No, I was going to say. So it's kind of funny.
Holy God, that thing is crazy.
Well, it's 5 foot long, dude.
That's
crazy. You can split a 4x4 with that.
To be
diagonally?
fair, it says it is almost 4 feet long.
Oh, okay. Oh, I guess you
It says-
can get some additional bits to extend it.
Maybe you do it like broken in half. But that thing is nuts.
It is. It is wild.
Maybe cool to play on.
Yeah. It'd be great for doing a lot of modern gaming.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a lot of cool stuff you could do on that. That'd be another cool one you could use again for like a Marvel game. You know, you could literally recreate the beginning of Captain America: Winter Soldier, where you like jump onto the cargo ship and you have to like find Batroc.
Right. Yep. And you throw the. Yep. There we go. Buy an extender.
I mean, you can just buy another middle section and like.
Yep.
Really go nuts.
Just make it 10 foot long.
Yeah, might as well. Why stop? Why stop at 5?
Go crazy. But the no, I think that'd be cool. Yeah, being on there and throwing all those cargo containers around would look awesome. But yeah, so one of the things I was going to say is we didn't have a lot of folks posting pictures of their terrain in the Facebook group this week. There could be a number of reasons why that was the case. But one of them that I'm going to present or hypothesize is that not as many people have terrain. A lot of people play at the local store, they play at a friend's place, but when they play, or even if they play at their own house, when they play, the terrain is kind of the afterthought. I'm sure there's still a lot of people out there who are playing with the like stacks of books and Coke can terrain.
No, that's the Carnifex. The Coke can is the Carnifex.
The Coke can is the Carnifex, yes. I'm sorry. The what would it be? What would it make it terrain out of if you're not going to use the Coke can as the Carnifex?
So I think that a lot of it changed when Games Workshop started realizing that people needed more terrain. Because you go back and you look at the old White Dwarfs, and it's always like, here's how to make this thing out of stuff.
Yep.
Remember, they actually had the instructions to make a speeder out of like a speed stick container.
Right.
Like that's an article that's in White Dwarf, and then they started being like, oh yeah, well we'll also make terrain, and they started doing that. I remember when we were at the company, they sent out the first time that stores got a pre-assembled kit. I don't know if you remember this. It was on a piece of like resin this big,
right?
And it was the bunker.
Yep.
It was the bunker. You could take the roof off.
Yep.
And like Jason Buyaki and Chad Mirzwa painted all of them.
Yep. Cast those and paint them. Yep.
And I mean, it was super cool. Everybody at our store wanted to use that piece of terrain.
Sure.
Because it looked amazing. I was like, well, yeah, it's professionally made, professionally painted. Like it should look good.
Yep.
I don't know if you remember the other one they sent out. I think it was done by a different company. It was done by the same company that did remember the Space Marine statuettes that were done on a soapstone?
Yep.
So I think it was by the same company, it was the same material, and it came in 3 pieces. So it was like a base that had like a cracked, like ruined church floor.
Right.
And then you stuck in one side and then stuck in the front, and there was a stained glass window that was broken, and it was made out of like thick, like plastic.
Yep.
And it was pre-painted. It looked phenomenal.
Right.
And now GW releases like awesome terrain kits, like the new Warcry box that's coming out next week, or
yep.
Is it next week? It's not next week. It's the following Saturday. The terrain that comes in that looks amazing. There's all these like cool like lattice work, like wood bridges and stuff, and like suspension bridges, and there's all these like different like forts and buildings and like treehouse looking things. Like it's just such a cool kit. And if you're playing with that on the table, everything you need is in there.
Right.
It's like a whole table's worth of terrain. I always like that.
Oh yeah, no, I think it's fantastic what they're doing, and the amount of terrain that is available out there is incredible. I still think that we're not quite at the point where people are putting as much effort into their terrain as they do their miniatures or their armies. We haven't got to that where it's widely accepted that it's super cool to paint terrain and create sort of wicked settings, but I don't think it's necessarily that, because like we were just talking about, like how cool is Phil's
thing with the smashed Titan head. Like, it's amazing.
Oh yeah.
I don't think it's that. I think it's that, enough people have a tough time getting their miniatures painted. So, like, I understand you're like, okay, I got to prioritize this. Do I really make this building look sweet, or do I finish another squad of Space Marines? And you're like, well, I guess the Space Marines have to take priority first.
Right. Yeah. I know what you're saying, but at the same time, we're not at the point where people will go, well, I'll paint this squad of Space Marines, and then I'll paint this bunker, and then I'll paint this other squad of Space Marines, and I'll paint these two buildings. They're not. I still think we're not at the point where it's all being done concurrently as a cohesive project. I still think it's an afterthought, which is a disappointing thing, I think. But
yeah,
I think it's heading in the right direction. So
yeah, I definitely think it is.
The disappointment will disappear, but
there's so much great terrain now. Like, before, it's hard to go, well, I made this out of putting plaster Paris on a 2-liter Coke bottle, and I'm going to paint it up, make it look cool. It's like, you better be a great painter, because otherwise it's just going to look like a plaster Paris on a Coke bottle. Now it's a lot more forgiving to find like a really cool terrain kit and do that. Apparently, they call me Hidalgo is saying that I might be saying Jason's last name wrong.
How do you say it?
I thought it was Buyaki, but
Buyaki, yeah, it's Buyaki.
Okay. Maybe they said it a different way.
Buyaki, possibly.
I don't know.
Yeah. Potato.
Yeah, whatever.
Amusingly enough, Jason doesn't eat potatoes, so.
Really?
Yeah. Anyway, moving on.
So I will say, in terms of cool terrain, so oddly enough, I was talking to a kid at the shop the other day about interesting terrain and stuff that we built, and I said one of the coolest things I'd ever built is I took a kid had a return, right? He returned like a Land Raider, and it was missing a sprue. So we just we swapped it out, got him all set. He's on his way, and then I'm like, well, I can't sell this because it's missing because I want to say in the Land Raider you had like the body sprue, and then there's like the two the sides, the treads, and then there's like the one sprue has basically one side weapon mount, so it's like the weapon mount. So it's one last cannon turret, and then all of the treads for one side, and then the roof panels. It has like the pintle bolter and all that stuff, and then the other one has a last cannon again and the treads, but it doesn't have any of the upgrade stuff.
Okay.
So he was missing the bigger one.
Sure.
So I was like, okay, well, you can't make this. So I was like, oh, I'm going to turn this into a cool piece of terrain. So I built the Land Raider, and then I only had enough treads to do one side. So I did one side, and then I put the last cannon mount on that one side, and then on the other side, I took a bunch of like guitar strings, and bass strings, and cut them and had them sticking out like the last cannon had been ripped off.
Oh, okay. Yep.
And then I took the whole thing outside and ground it on the asphalt to really chew it up. To make it look like the whole thing had just been ripped off.
Right.
And I primed it, but I never painted it. But at some point I probably will. It's somewhere packed up now. I don't know where it is, but I'm sure I'll find it again. But
yeah.
Apparently the way they used to say it, it was not. It was not appropriate.
Not appropriate for the internet. Well, not appropriate for us on YouTube on this show. But yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. That's cool. But no, I've been definitely over the last few years spending a lot of time with terrain and doing things. So I did it when I painted up my my Chaos Knight force.
Yeah. Yep.
I have them. They're all sort of breaking through Imperial buildings or cutting through a building or stepping through ruins, that kind of thing. So I ended up painting up a whole set of terrain that matches their basing.
Right.
And then it was like, okay, when I worked on my Death Guard, it was like, okay, well, I'm going to match the basing to the Chaos Knights. And then when I worked on my Tanith army, again, did the basing to match the the terrain collection that I now had, and the mat that I had to put them all on. So now I've got a whole bunch of models that I can play on a table that looks sort of set for them.
Right.
Yeah, and that's sort of the sort of thing that I think it's a lot easier to do that now.
Yeah.
And I think it'll be really cool to continue to see people do that.
I always appreciate having like a themed table or a themed army. Like when everything matches, it just looks. I mean, let's be honest. That was part of the reason why GW used to paint everything with goblin green bases, right? It was so that everything looked like it was on the same. Like, and I'm like, look, we can't all be fighting on a grass field. Like, you just can't. There's so many options now too. Like the technical paints that GW makes.
Yep.
Like you can do mud, or you can do like the volcanic ground, or you can do ash, or you can do desert or dunes or snow. Like, and it's so easy to do. It really is like deceptively easy. Like my favorite thing to do now is I do snow bases.
Yep.
And a lot of times I do it because my armies will be like a really, really bright color. Like I have a whole Blood Angel force and I have a Flesh Eaters army. And I used to do the classic like Dryad Bark, Steel Legion Drab, and then I'd build it up so the top would basically be like Bleach Bone and like Raykarth Flesh. So it's always like this like sort of like scorched earth looking base. And I like that, but it can get a little boring. You know, you go Valhallans with Goblin Green bases. 100%. Everything had Goblin Green bases.
Yep.
But yeah, like it's so much easier to do a really, really simple base and have it look great. Like the snow bases. Right now for the Flesh Eaters I'm doing, I paint the base. I think it's rust gray. So I paint the base rust gray, the whole thing, and then I basically paint the top Fenrisian gray, and then I put Valhallan Blizzard, like the snow texture stuff, all over it, and I leave a couple spots where there isn't any.
Right.
And then the spots where there isn't any, I'll sort of like drag a swirl of crystal blue, and then put gloss varnish over it so it looks like ice.
Okay.
Or I'll put the Tundra Tufts from Army Painter to like break up the silhouette, and they look awesome. It literally looks like I spent hours on them, and I'm like, yeah, really. I basically painted them blue and let them dry and put the snow on them. It's awesome.
Yep. And if you're doing terrain, you just do the terrain as it is, but you can then put that finish, that Valhalla Blizzard on the top, just on any like horizontal surfaces.
Yeah, put a little bit of snow and stuff. It's a super easy fix. I do think. So on a related note, when it comes to painting, I wanted to run this by you. We had a situation that popped up in the store. So I wasn't there. A couple guys were playing a game, and this one guy has a absolutely beautifully built and painted army. It's I think he plays. I forget what they're called. It's the new High Elves. Okay,
Lumineth Realm Lords.
Yeah, Lumineth Realm Lords. I was like, yeah, whatever new crazy adjective-laden descriptive term they have.
Yep.
It's the new copyrightable phrase, but they look great. Like
They're
like
awesome.
The knights, and it's like guys with like the giant bull hats and like the archers and stuff. They're just a great looking army.
Yep.
And he's a great painter, and then he also has a the other guy, cow elves. That's the ones. He also has the it's Alariel and all like the Sylvaneth. He has a Sylvaneth army. Same thing. It's really, really well done. His Alariel looks amazing. She's on like this giant like glossy beetle, and like his tree man looks awesome. And he's done the whole thing where he's like, punched out the leaves, and he has leaves on the bases and stuff. Like it's a really, really well done army. So apparently he was playing this other kid who's a great guy, comes in the store all the time, super nice kid, really, really passionate about doing a lot of the smaller games and narrative play, like really, really into it. Yep. And he has I think he's playing one of the undead factions. I forget which one.
Right.
But so his army has a lot of like conversions, which I dig. But he also has some conversions that like you couldn't play them at a GW event because they're not Games Workshop models.
Right.
Like he's got like his zombie dragon is like a Reaper model, I think, that's been like painted up or converted up and stuff, and it's on a cool base. So everything is legal in terms of like it's on the right base size and it's like scaled appropriately.
Yeah.
So like line of sight isn't, it's not like a bunch of manhole covers with a gun sticking out. You're like, oh, that's an orc, blood axe. He's down in the sewer.
Yeah.
But almost none of his stuff or very little of his stuff is painted.
Oh, okay.
So the kid who has the painted elf army was kind of giving him a hard time about his stuff not being painted.
Yep.
And the kid who has the stuff that's painted felt like the guy who was giving him a hard time was like out of line, and he was like picking on him. And I was like, so I think I think you both have a valid point, right? I think that if you took the time to build and prepare and paint an army, and you clearly have spent a lot of time on it, and your opponent has shown up who has not painted it, I understand why he's maybe a little bit salty.
Sure.
But at the same time, I also think that if you take it easy, Josh. Thanks for swinging by.
Oh, bye, Josh.
Slink paint. Slinks the paint. Nice.
Excellent.
Get those mans painted. But I also think that the other kid has a point too, because nobody wants to feel called out for their hobby, and for a lot of people, like, you know, we talked before, like there's my hobby and there's the hobby.
Yeah. Well, it's
his hobby is playing.
There's a social contract thing that that we all engage in when we hobby, and I think that it's the toughest thing is managing our expectations, and it's always that kind of thing. And if they had arranged a game and there was no discussion about state of painting, like how many of your models are painted, are all of them painted and none of them painted, what's the thing, if there was no discussion about that, then I don't feel that the person who had painted his army is really in a position to feel salty,
right?
Because he's mismanaged his expectations. Sure. And the other guy said, "Hey, you don't have any of your stuff painted? Well, how about this time? There's not going to be anything painted. Next time we play, you can have a unit painted or 2 units painted, or if we play in 3 months' time, maybe you have 3 units painted." It's talking with people and working out. Sorry, there's a bit of a shake here, but it's talking with people and working out what to expect, what to understand. If you rolled up if they didn't organize the game beforehand, and then you just roll up and go, "Hey, yeah, I'll play," then you've seen the army, you've seen the models that are on the table.
Right.
But yeah, so it's I don't think calling somebody out on it is pretty rough. But another way to approach it is, oh, cool. So yeah, when are you planning on starting work on these? What do you think? What color scheme are you thinking of doing? What techniques are you going to use? Talk to the people and find out what their plans are and how they're going to be invested in it. So,
Scott, that's awesome.
No, boo to you, Scott. I mean, I know that he's joking, but yeah.
I wasn't there, so I didn't really get involved. We posted something afterwards, and we talked about hey, the game is for people to have fun, and it's not okay for anybody to feel like they're getting picked on or called out. But yeah, I also think that there's a big piece of what we do is the whole what are you signing up for? What are you prepared to do? How much you want to do to get into this hobby? I had a conversation today with a mom. She came in with her 2 kids, and she was like, "Oh, you're picking out a birthday present," and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, "Those kids look awful young." I was like, "I'm gonna go find out what's going on." So I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" So they're like, "We want to get a starter set," and I was like, "Do you want to do Age of Sigmar, 40K?" They're like, 40K. I was like, "Okay, cool." So I was like, "Oh, what's this for?" And she was like, "Oh, we're picking out a birthday present." I was like, "Oh, cool. How old are you guys gonna be?" And she's like, "Well, it's next week." And so she's like, he's going to be 10 and he's going to be 12. And I was like, I mean, you're right there. You're right on the cusp. But, they've never done anything like this before. And she was so I pulled her aside and I said, "Listen," I said, "they're right there. They're right at the cusp where they could technically get into this." I said, "But the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to have them go too deep, too fast, because then they're just going to get frustrated." They're gonna start if they've never built models. Like we talked about. For me, it was easy. I had already been painting Ralph Partha metal models. Sure. I didn't have to build them, but I was already painting models. And then I was building models that were big, a tank or the Enterprise or whatever. But I had never built a model that's a miniature to paint. But I was but that seemed like a pretty easy, convergence of the 2 things I was doing.
Yeah.
But I talked to her about it. She's like, yeah, they've never done anything like this. The closest they've done is like Legos. And I was like, okay, so they have some of that creative like building thing. I was like, but like it is a lot of work. I just don't want you. I don't want you as the parent to feel like you're, throwing money into a fire. I'm like, but at the same time, I also don't want them to get frustrated because then it'll sour the milk and they'll never want to come back and play.
Yeah.
So she was like, no, I really appreciate that. So I went on the website and I showed them, like, I said, what I think they should do is they should get the Space Marine starter set that has 3 Space Marines and like 6 paints.
Yep.
And I was like, you can try that. And if they build 3 Space Marines and they're like, this is awesome, cool.
Yep.
And that way you're also not out. You're out $35, like whatever. But that way you didn't drop like $100 on a starter set and a bunch of paints and glue. And so she was like, no, I really appreciate it. That's really good. She's like, maybe I'll come back next week. I was like, yeah, come back, bring them, don't bring them, whatever you want to do. I'm like, I'm happy to answer questions. So.
Yep. Yep. Definitely good. Definitely good. But yeah, cool. Scott says, Jake, does your store have a paint night? Paint nights. Great thing to invite these super annoying kids to, see if they're ready to hear me mock their game, gameplay and painting abilities.
Yeah, I'm gonna sign them up for a game against Scott. I'll be like, Scott can bring whatever he wants, and they can bring their 3 Space Marines. We'll see how that game goes.
Yep. But Chris said this is how my son has been getting his friends in the hobby. Yep. I think it's the way to go. You gotta. It's a potentially big thing. You gotta make sure you love it before you jump in.
I think part of my responsibility as the store owner is not like leading these parents down the primrose path.
Oh yeah, totally. All
right, let's see the piece de resistance. Let's see your terrain.
Okay, what we're going to do is I'm going to show one of the tables. We'll just run through this fairly quickly. I'm going to go out and actually have some birthday cake, but it's not my birthday; it's my father-in-law's birthday. One of the tables that will be at Gen Con in the at the Modifius booth, which I don't know if John's still in the chat, but it is booth 3053.
I'll be there. I'll be there for some of the show. So.
Yep. So if you know where the Dust USA booth used to be, it's that same booth, same area, same spot. Well, because it's all Greg. So definitely cool.
Greg's the best.
This is damn it! Now I want birthday cake. That's cool. So I will get this started. Bring that up.
Dave, I hope you brought enough cake for everyone.
I did not. Okay, so let me just make sure I've got this running. Is it playing? It's not playing.
Scott, right on. I appreciate that. Back when I was a GW Outrider, I loved painting nights with kids. Unfortunately, I saved a lot of parents a lot of money, but the odd one really caught the bug.
Yep.
That's the right way to do it. So.
Yeah. Oh man, we're not getting. Not sure why, but
your movie's not working.
Yeah, videos aren't working tonight. That's a little bit disappointing.
Well, here, I'll describe it to everybody. So
okay.
It's this big rectangle that Dave put these really cool laser cut pieces on the edges. This one says Elder Scrolls.
Elder Scrolls. Yep.
It's a cool like smashed temple with like these like brick inlays, and there's like these arches and stuff. And Melbose said he thought the arches were the best part.
Yep, that's true. But I do have some photos of the building of. Just a little bit disappointing that the video isn't working. But you can check out my Instagram, Dave Taylor Miniatures. You'll be able to see the videos and some other photos there. So I will quickly move us along to some fun stuff there. But what I was going to say with this build, the Elder Scrolls table, I knew I'd have to do a lot of very small and like fairly regular kind of cuts. So I went and bought myself a Proxxon table hot wire cutter. So
how much did that set you back?
Well, here's the funny thing. Okay, you know how much we spend on our stuff. And we're like just talking like Chris there has 3 Warlord heads, but no Warlord Titan. Things like that. I was watching. Who was I watching? I watched Lockie on Zorpazorp, who was using one, and Jeremy on Black Magic Craft, those two YouTube channels. Jeremy had one as well that he was using, and he was like, "Yeah, it's an expensive piece of kit, but it's well worth it for this particular job that he was working on." And I was like, "Oh man, how much is it?" It was like $300-$400. And I went and checked, and it was like 140.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, exactly. That was my response. I went, 140? Oh, okay. So I ordered it. And yeah, used it to build the staircases. So on the left-hand side of that shot, you can see all the pieces of foam set up for staircase building. And then on the right-hand side, I'm cutting a thin sliver there for a whole bunch of bricks or like stone blocks. That,
I like your frown of concentration you have going on.
Oh yeah. It was funny because I had my youngest daughter Lucy taking the photos, and she didn't take she took like 20 photos and none of them were good.
Scott, that's $40 more than a limited edition of Blood Angels Codex.
Yeah, you gotta be careful there.
But to be fair, I mean, you can get like even the garbage one that we used to sell at GW that was basically like a pastry tube with 2D batteries in it. I think that thing costs like $28.
Yeah. Well, I think we sold it. We sold it for $28.
Yeah. Like for another $100, you're getting like this actual thing that looks like a table saw. That's kind of insane.
Yeah, it is. It is pretty sweet. It's a sweet kit. But yeah, so I used that, and this is one where I also. This is the first time I used cork bark. And also the first time I used modeling compound, like Geek Gaming Scenics modeling compound.
Sure.
So the cork bark I bought from a like terrarium, or like lizard enclosure place on Etsy, and I wasn't sure how much I was going to need, so I ended up buying like 7 pounds worth.
Which is, I mean, you probably used like 12 ounces.
I used 2 pounds, so I used 32 ounces on this. But on one of the shots there, you can see the little bricks that I built. Basically, they're all sort of a facade over the structure of the building there. But yeah, those all of that that cork bark was really cool to use. Glues in place really quickly. It sticks really solid. I used Tight Bond 2 glue, so wood glue, which is much stronger than PVA, but yeah, very good to use there. And the Geek Gaming Scenics modeling compound, I wasn't sure how much I was going to need, so I got 2 500-gram packs. So what's that? 500 grams is 2 pounds. Is it?
So you got 4 pounds of it?
I can't remember. Yeah, I probably got like 4 pounds of it, and I needed to get more.
Really? Okay.
So it was one where I had had a lot of one thing, not enough of the other. But yeah, this one's really great for doing all that filling in, that gap filling between the cork bark, because you can texture it. I just mix them up with like a popsicle stick, and you can lay it on really easily, texture it up, and it basically it has that, you can get it to have the same sort of texture as the cork bark, so that when you go through and paint it and dry brush it, you can't tell where one ends and the other begins.
All right, let's see the next
Definitely
one.
Cool stuff. But you know, just quickly, the arches that are on there that you mentioned, those are resin pieces from Modiphius that you can buy from them. Okay, there we go. 454 grams per pound. So it was just over a pound, so 2 pounds. I used 2 pounds and needed more. So I think I ended up probably using 4 pounds on the whole table. But yeah, that's good. And then here's the final shot.
Listening to Mel be like, "Oh yeah, the arches are the best part." You're like, yeah, I bought those.
I bought those. Yeah. But you can see there the center. Those there are two that have the taller columns in the center. They run up through the middle of the arches. I had to cut those from foam because Modifius doesn't make those. But it was a very cool table project. A lot of fun to build. Took me I think the biggest time sink for this was the actually working out how to build how I was going to go about building the structure. So I ended up building it in layers. So when I could finally sort of conceive of how I wanted to build that up, it was all go.
Did you like coat it with stuff? So like when I used to make pink foam back in the day,
Yep.
for like scatter terrain, I used to clear coat it with tons of like lacquer,
Right.
and then paint it and then matte varnish it, so there'd be a little bit of a layer. Because otherwise, you'd have some little kid put his finger on the stair and he'd like squash it.
Right. Yeah, I think there's still a risk of that happening. But yeah, at this stage, like once I'd finished this, I went through and did the like the double spray, like a spray of isopropyl alcohol to wet the surface first, and then spray it with like thinned PVA glue. And you do a couple of layers of that, and that sort of sets rock hard. Gives you some good solid thing. And then when I primed it, I actually primed it all with I painted on some what do you call it? The Vallejo airbrush spray surface primer. So it was kind of funny. I ended up just sort of squirting that all over the place and then just brushing it on. Even though I'd done all of that coating with the PVA glue, I was a little bit worried that if I did any spraying on the over the foam areas, that there'd be just a little sliver that I missed, and would then eat away at it. But yeah, so painting on the that surface primer. That surface primer flows really well, so it's easy to get all that done. And then once that was on, and I was comfortable with that, I then primed it with some, or hit it with some gray and brown sprays. But yeah.
All right, come on, let's give the people what they want. Let's see the finished product here.
Well, see, I was hoping that the finished product would be in the video, so I don't actually have a photo of the painted one ready.
Geez, this guy.
Pardon?
This guy. I will make sure that I take great pictures of it when I'm at Gen Con.
I mean, I have photos, and they're on my Instagram, up on my Instagram and on my Facebook page as well. But yeah, I think if you can take some photos of it in action, of people playing games on it, that'd be super cool.
Dave's always up here like promoting other channels and stuff. It's like, guys, come on, get it together.
Get it together, exactly. But yeah, so there's this table. There's a Fallout table as well that Scott's mentioned in the chat there.
The Fallout table is amazing. It literally looks like a Sonic diner that got hit by an atom bomb, which is basically what it is. So
yeah. Well, the cool thing is that like these are 2 foot by 2 foot tables, so they're very much demo tables. And I had to build crates to go around them. So there's like a structure of 1x4s. 1x3s, sorry, 1x3s, and then it's clad in like 1/4 inch birch ply. So it's supposed to, the crate itself is supposed to look really nice as well. But this particular table, the Elder Scrolls table, at some point, UPS, while they were moving it around between my place and Ohio, they stuck the tine of a forklift through one of the sides of the crate. But thankfully it didn't go far enough through. It hit one of the side, like one of these closer sides to us, so it didn't go far enough to actually knock anything. So the table itself was undamaged underneath. So, but there's just a nice hole in the side that's shaped like a forklift tine. So yeah, we've talked to UPS about that. But,
that's. I mean, we got lucky, but yikes.
Yep, definitely neat.
All right. Well, listen, Zoe, what do we want to talk about for next week?
What are we talking? I don't know. Well, we're going to talk about Gen Con and all the cool things you saw.
Yeah, we'll do some Gen Con follow-up.
Yep. So how about so Gen Con follow-up from you? How about we I'll put a post up in the group to have people pick their favorite miniature release from Gen Con. So you don't have to have gone to a Gen Con, but if you know a company that is there that is releasing something or super excited about something at the show, you can just put it in a comment in that section. So any company.
For some spoilers,
yeah.
I know for a fact that there's a bunch of new stuff that's already been teased. That's out for pre-orders right now. That's for Marvel Crisis Protocol and for Song of Ice and Fire, and for Star Wars Legion. So it's stuff like the swoop bikes and like Din Djarin and Grogu, and for Crisis Protocol, it's like Captain America and the original Human Torch and Baron Strucker and Arnim Zola. But some of the coolest stuff, and I found pictures, so I put it up on our website for pre-order, but I know that they're going to tease these models there, is the new House Martell stuff for Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that they're going to tease those models there. That's kind of the rumor. I mean, that's usually most companies kind of roll out the big guns for Gen Con, so we'll see. I know there's a bunch of new BattleTech models that are coming. There's like the Hansen's Rough Riders box and stuff like that. But I'll make sure I get some cool pictures and everybody keep an eye out and put up stuff that they're excited for.
Yep. No, that sounds good. So yeah, next week we're going to just talk about like completely random, super cool Gen Con stuff.
Absolutely.
Which should be neat.
That's that'll be easy.
I was going to say, also don't forget to drop by the GW booth or GW area because there are 4 more tables that I did for them that I can't show off until...
Yeah, I'll get photos
till Gen Con.
Did they pay you in Warlord heads?
Pardon?
Did they pay you in Warlord heads?
In Warlord heads. They did not pay me in Warlord heads. But now that I know that that's a potential currency, I will start asking for that in the future.
Do that table for you. It will cost 6 Warlord heads.
6 Warlord heads. Yep. 6 Warlord heads per table. I can end up with a Legio of Warlord heads.
There you go. It'll cost you 12. It'll cost you 12 Dorado Dreadnoughts.
Yep. That'd be the way to do it. Cool thing.
The other thing too. This is kind of a last minute thing, but hopefully people can help us come up with stuff. So Dave and I are looking for like a cool, like a fun sign off that is gaming and painting and hobby related. Because the biggest thing we've had with our show is that because we like answer questions and look at the chat, we're not really like thinking of like a sign off. So it ends up being kind of like a bit of a car crash at the end. It's like okay, well, so I guess that's it, but bye or whatever, I guess. And then like, so like we want to come up with something cool, whether it's keep your brushes clean or keep your caps on your shades or whatever. But we'll figure something out. But I will. I'm looking forward to seeing some of those because I'm sure some of those will be winners. I'm sure that Scott will have something that is.
Well, he's already got one there.
Huh?
He's already got one. See you at the party.
Cool. So, there we go. This is a good one. See you at the party. Get to the generator. Quaid could be a good sign off. I mean, there's so many good ones. I don't know.
See you in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Don't drink your paint water. Yep. Oh, sorry. I've just seen. So John Walker, his avatar has just popped up. That's Jay from Warsenal. So definitely cool. We look forward to see some more of your stuff, Jay. Very nice.
I was hoping it was the CEO at Johnny Walker, and he was like looking for a sponsorship deal, and I'd be like, "Yeah, let's do that. Let's make that happen." I will do a shot of Blue Label before every show.
Yep. That's terrible. I won't.
Yeah, that's fine. I'll do one for me and one for Dave.
Yep. Excellent.
I'll swing by the Warsenal booth and I'll say hi to you. Scott, are you going to be at Gen Con?
No, Scott's not going to be at Gen Con. Scott's going to be in Saskatchewan.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, that could be the sign off right there though. Weird that there's no Jeff Smith tonight. Like that's sign off.
Yep. He doesn't have to be here every night, but next time maybe we'll see.
Fingers crossed. All right. Well, listen. Thank you guys so much for joining us. There he goes. Jeff Smith on here.
Hello from Gen Con. Oh, that's right. Yeah, he's going to be there at the Battlefront / Gale Force 9 booth.
Okay, right on.
Yep.
Jeff, you signed in just in time for the end, so I will swing by and see you guys at that bot account. I'll swing by the Warsenal booth and see John, and then I will. Jeff, what booth are you at? Jeff's at the Infinity booth.
He's at sitting. Jeff Smith.
Yeah.
Battlefront with John Matthews.
No, right. Then I will see. I'll see Jeff for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
No, John's at Warsenal. Who's at the Infinity booth?
No, so John Walker in the chat is Jay, who's going to be at who owns Warsenal, and Warsenal and Infinity are in the same booth, 941.
Okay, got it.
Got it.
Yeah, he has a new picture. That's what. That's what I threw me. He has a new picture.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not the same picture.
No, it's throwing you out. Off. And Jeff's going to be at 621. There you go. Anyway. Hopefully our future sign-offs will not be this long.
No, it's great. The Ever protects. I will see you guys soon.
Sure thing. We'll see you later. Okay. Bye.